Happy Wednesday, Stratters. Hope your trading day went well. So I want to show you what I'm looking at for 4/21/2022. As usual, we're going to start with Apple. It is one of my favorite tech stocks to trade. It's so liquid. It moves nicely. Most of tech today had a gap up, so it opened up high, higher than the close yesterday, and then they just came right back down. So pretty much what we call a gap and crap. So what we're looking at here is a failed two. Doesn't have all the downward momentum that I'd really like to be able to see for a 2-2 reversal, but that's what we're going to keep an eye on. We're going to be looking at under 166.10 for a 2-2 reversal for a price target around 163.91. That would be our price target. If we do go to the upside, for a 2-2 continuation, we're going to be looking at 171.27 as our target. Now, Tesla did have some pretty good earnings, so they could literally carry all of tech along with them. So that's the first thing I'm looking at. The next one is, of course, AMD. I am actually sitting in this one overnight. It's one of the few things that I decided to swing. So we're going to see how that works out. Big old 2-bar on the daily. So here we have, once again, it gapped up, opened up higher than the close of yesterday, came down, and buyers stepped in at the end of the day to kind of keep this from going to a 3-bar, to an outside day. So we're going to be looking at a 2-2 reversal to the downside. Even though this is a big old red candle, it is still technically a 2 up. So we're going to be looking at that reversal under 93.20 for a move down to, the first move is not actually pretty shallow, the price target of 92.84. So what you could do is always wait until we get underneath 92.84 for an entry and then look at 91.64 as your first price target. Of course, a move to the upside is very possible, but that first price target is quite shallow. So your entry is going to be after 97.91 for a move to 98.39. So that's something that you're going to want to keep an eye on, and you can always wait to move it. Now, notice there is kind of the this pink line that is the top of a broadening formation that was drawn with connecting the 13th and the 14th together, since we did have some range expansion on that 3-bar. So we did kind of come up towards the top of that. We could come up towards the top of that again and then come back down for range expansion. That is a very strong possibility. We'll just have to see what tomorrow morning's hold and what futures look like overnight. All right, so that's AMD. Now, very similar to AMD is MU, still in the chip sector, more towards the memory side of things versus the actual CPU side of things. But MU has a fail to shooter candle. Now, that is what I really like to see in a fail two. So we're going to be looking at a 2-2 reversal to the downside underneath $72.89. And the very first price target is a good $2 move to $70.77. So I'm actually going to keep a very close eye on MU tomorrow, so we can see what that does if it does go to the downside. Then upside, obviously, entry over 76.23 for a move to 78.02. So just round that to like 78 even, since whole numbers are really nice when it comes to buying things and options and just psychological numbers. So what we also did is hit a top of a broadening formation, just came right back in. So what I see here is the buyers really jumped in to take it 2 up. I mean, it opened, here at the 73.90 area, took it all the way up, and then just the seller stepped in, said enough's enough, and dropped it down. So again, I'm going to be looking for some continued selling pressure tomorrow on MU. Next is going to be some of the Dow stocks. Why? Well, let's take a look. So again, we have some failed twos, and this is a Bank of America. So failed 2 up, right? Failed 2 up. So now there was really not a lot of buying stepping in at the very end of the day to bring the close any higher. So we're going to be looking at an entry underneath $39.61 for a move down to $39.11. And that is a very realistic move for Bank of America, considering the ATR is about $1.21. Obviously, an upside play is possible. Know your levels. That's why I do this every single night. I make my levels. So we have an upside play of almost a little over 30 cents of a move. So, for Bank of America, that's a pretty substantial move. Okay, next on the list is CCL. This one very similar to Bank of America. A failed 2 up, and it is almost a shooter. The body of the candle is a little larger than we typically like to see for a shooter, but it looks pretty close. And there really was not much buying at the end of the day. So we're going to be looking for a 2-2 reversal to the downside. And the entry after $19.62 for a move to $19.11. You do have an upside play with a pretty substantial magnitude from 2033 to 2150. So that's going to be a potential to look out for too. And if you only want to play the upside, just wait for it to go up above 2033, and that'll be your entry there. So that's CCL. And last on the list here is Ford, very similar to Bank of America, very similar to CCL. Again, a failed to shooter. Now this one, the real body is a lot smaller, so this is more along the lines of what I like to see. So we're going to be looking at an entry below $16. I know it says 1601 there, but think psychological levels, because that's just what people see when you see something for $15.99. Well, that's a lot cheaper than $16, right? So same kind of concept applies when you're looking at stocks. If you see something for $16, it's definitely going to be a lot cheaper. Or $15.99, it's going to be a lot cheaper than $16. So be looking at that. It's just a psychological thing for a move down to $15.74. You do have an upside play over 1655. I mean, a lot of things have to happen, right? Like we closed all the way down here, so we need to see Ford opening up above 1654 or pretty high up on this range, close to 1654 for that move. But then right after you get through that, you have some resistance at 1662. So that is something to keep an eye on. And then we're going to wrap this up by looking at SPY right quick. Now, we did a 2 up on the day, but it was a failed 2. So we'll see what happens. What I'd like to see now with a failed 2 is a reversal. So a 2-2 reversal happens. It brings us back down. The price target would be 437.68. And you're going to be looking for an entry under 443.48. And then you have QQQ. Very, very similar. Another 2 up, but it was failed. It did go through its 50% retracement of the previous day. We just didn't get a 3-bar out of it. That was kind of a bummer. I was hoping for that. So we're going to be looking at an entry for a 2-2 reversal entry under 339.96 for a move down to 336.98. That will be our price target. Upside play will be 347.56 to 353.09. Again, my suggestions, I look at 30-minute candles and I look at reversals on the 30 and the 15-minute candles. So what you're going to want to do is wait for reversal to happen. So take, for instance, a 2-2 reversal. We're in time frame continuity to downside. So this is a 2 up, and I would have entered right here at that price point when we get that next 2 down at 167.72, and my price target would have been the low of the previous candle, so 166.55. Now that actually turned out to work out pretty nicely on Apple. So that's how I would suggest playing these things today and tomorrow and in the future, because it works out really nicely on a 30-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, 1-hour time frame. Okay, that's going to wrap it today, Stratters, and happy trading. Remember to subscribe,